So welcome to 2019. I am so excited about my resolutions for the new year. Resolutions for New Year's have been something that most of my life I thought were shit because they were just a setup for failure from my experience. I chose goals that were too big, too lofty, and too much in the should zone or the should category. Rather than choosing things that were going to bring me a lot of joy and success, I chose things that were going to bring me a lot of failure and misery. Just like everybody else, lose weight, study more, be a better person. It's really common New Year's resolutions. So in the last 3 or 4 years, I've been starting to choose New Year's resolutions that are going to be fun and enlivening to implement. And this year, I think, is my best year ever because I am making a commitment to sharing with other women the boundaries and communication skills that I've been learning from all the work that I've been doing. So to give you a bit of a preview, I'm going to be focusing on boundaries because I think that's been such a key linchpin in my personal growth, and one that I've gotten a lot of pushback for, and also had a lot of internalized anxiety about. When I start a new boundary, when I start a new boundary, I get very nervous because sometimes in the past when I've put up a boundary, I've gotten criticized or attacked. And so those have been internalized, and I have, without even getting pushback from the outside world, I already have pushback from inside. I have the internal critic saying, "You're so selfish. Well, maybe just this once. It's not so much," and all these kinds of things that are eroding my success with creating healthy boundaries before I've even begun to implement them. And my experience is that I've also then, even after fighting that, sometimes gotten pushback from the outside world too. So I am sharing the gift with you of the 5 things that I absolutely believe are true and most want to integrate into my being this year. And I here's my draft. You can go to my website, or I'll post these on Facebook where you can download them as well. So it says, your wants are sacred. Wants are your guideposts to what makes you most alive. Mistrusting yourself and your wants makes you vulnerable to manipulation. In our education system, our religious system, our families, oftentimes we're really taught over and over again that you shouldn't do what you want, but you should do what the teacher wants, what the parent wants, what the church wants. And we're constantly programmed to look outside of ourselves for what we should want instead of what we do want. And that leads to a lot of conflict. And we have a lot of fear around our wants. Well, what if I just want to eat the entire cake? What if I just want to steal the money from the bank? So we have a lot of disclarity around what are true wants, or what wants are okay and what not are not okay. And I propose that what your truest, most centered wants are, that are reflective of your healthy relationship with yourself, are never going to be out of alignment. So we all want to eat food because we need it to live, right? Sometimes our wants go, we want to be skinny so we don't eat enough food, or we want to, I tend to stuff my feelings through eating food, so I eat too much, right? Those are not, I don't ever actually want to sit down and eat the entire cake. That's like wanting a stomach ache, right? that's a coping mechanism for me to deal with something that I don't know how to deal with, or I've had injury around in the past. So it can be really confusing for us to figure out, okay, well, what is a want and what is like a coping mechanism or an unhealthy behavior patterns, a lot of which that we didn't even, inherit ourselves, we didn't create ourselves, but may have been inherited from our families and society and from our pasts. So this is my inaugural Facebook Live. I trust that it's going out into the world, and I look forward to sharing the trajectory of learning about the boundaries that I'm putting for myself and sharing with the world, as well as how to engage with Facebook Live. And I'll be posting this to YouTube as well. So throughout the year, we're going to change the topic each month. And because there are 12 zodiac signs, we're going to do the 12 houses of the zodiac for themes. So the first theme will be Aries, which is self and issues of identity. And we'll move through, I believe, we'll be on to romance by February. And so we're going to look at your wants, your joy, your right to say no, and your honoring of your truest yes and no, and how to forge a healthy relationship to your power in the world. And we're going to, so each week of the month, we're going to talk about your relationship to your joy, your relationship to saying no, and your relationship to being allowed to be wrong or clumsy, and how you establish boundaries and how you say no, as well as getting out of the habit of trying to justify yourself and what you want, that really erodes your power base. So those are the themes we're going to cycle through each week on those topics, and then we're always going to have the overarching theme of connecting to what are our real wants, what are our healthy wants, how do we identify the difference between a want and, say, a behavioral coping mechanism kind of pattern that disguises itself as a want. So I look forward to getting to know you, and thanks for joining me in this conversation that I'm starting for the new year. Please give me some comments and some questions about boundaries in your life, and particularly around yourself. And for me, the biggest boundary I am learning to implement / struggling with right now is learning to put my interests first. I hear it everywhere. People are quoting the airlines that you must put your own oxygen mask on before helping that of the person next to you, right? But when it comes to actual lived experience, I have really deep patterns and automatic kind of just autopiloting to taking care of everyone else around me, especially even when it's not really that important, and sacrificing what I want, not even checking in with what I want. So I'm really looking at fine-tuning that for myself this year, and I'm very excited about learning how to put myself first in my life as a huge step towards healthiness, and am excited about this community of women being a part of that for me. So please share what your questions about boundaries are or experiences below, and I will look forward to responding and keeping that a part of the ongoing conversation. All right, Happy New Year!